Hi there, everyone. This is Kathy, your instructor for Introduction to Cultural Anthropology. I made this video because I wanted to provide some pointers to help you all meet the requirements for the final project rough draft assignment, which is due at the end of Module 5. The rough draft is worth about 10% of your final course grade, and the final project is worth about 20% of your final course grade. So maximizing the points earned on these assignments will have a positive impact on your final grade in the class. As you are working on your rough drafts, first I recommend that everyone review the sample case studies found in the Mind Edge Module 2 reading. So if you navigate to the Module 2 reading and scroll down to 2.16 and 2.17, you can see some sample case studies and get a good idea of what a sample anthropological case study looks like. An essential next step is to review the grading rubric for the final project. There are many different ways to access this rubric in our course, but right now we will start from our classroom homepage. From there, click on Course Information, then scroll down, click on Assignment Guidelines and Rubrics, and then click on Final Project Guidelines and Rubric. Here you will find a detailed explanation of the required elements to include in your rough draft and final projects. Be sure to carefully read all of the information in the rubric, paying particular attention to the last section, which provides a detailed breakdown of each of the elements that will be evaluated in your rough draft and your final project. One thing I've noticed when students submit their rough drafts for this project is that sometimes students are primarily focused on providing an overview of the film rather than focusing on anthropological analysis. Please keep in mind that this project is asking you to provide an analysis of your film from an anthropological perspective. Therefore, the synopsis of your film should be brief. Your main focus in this project should be addressing cultural change that occurs throughout the film and discussing 3 anthropological theories or themes we have explored in this course, and describing how these theories and/or themes relate to your film. For this aspect of the project, you want to clearly state the anthropological theme or theory, and then relate that theme to specific aspects of the film. Another element to include is an explanation of how applying each of the 3 anthropological themes or theories affected your interpretation of the film. You may want to take some time to re-watch your chosen film, taking detailed notes while keeping in mind the elements found in the grading rubric. Take the time to pause and rewind, carefully considering how the concepts we have been exploring in this course can be applied to the analysis of your film. Let's move on to the structure of your rough draft and final project. When writing your rough draft, first you want to make sure that your introduction is clear and includes your thesis statement. Your thesis needs to specifically explain why you are writing this paper. Usually a thesis statement is 1 sentence. Then your introduction can move on to a brief synopsis of your film. Here you do not want to include every plot detail because your primary focus should be on your analysis, discussing how anthropological themes and theories relate to your film. You only need to include the main events in the storyline, particularly those events that inform your analysis. In your introduction, you also want to discuss the specific cultural values and norms that are expressed in the film. Some examples include cultural relativism, assimilation, acculturation, globalization, marriage and family, systems of power, consumption, etc. The key is to correlate these anthropological ideas to specific aspects of your chosen film. After you've developed your introduction, next you will move on to the body of your paper, which is where you will use your thesis statement and talk about 3 specific anthropological theories or themes, relating those themes to elements of your film. By specific, I mean that a reader should be able to read through your paper and identify each theory. Here is Theory 1, here is Theory 2, here is Theory 3. It should be very clear in your rough draft and your final project. For each one of the themes, you want to provide an explanation of that theme. This is a great place to incorporate the anthropological terminology you have been learning over the past few weeks. You will then support your points with examples from the film. Be sure to also discuss cultural change and make as many course connections as you can. You will do that for each one of the 3 themes. After you have addressed each of the 3 themes, you will move on to your conclusion. This is an essential part of your paper because it is a summary of the main points of your analysis. Here is also where you will include the lessons you have learned from this project. The next step, which can be very helpful, is to re-watch your film. You can use this opportunity to flush out the details of your paper. Perhaps there are some elements that you did not consider when writing your rough draft. Here are a few other tips to help you achieve maximum possible points on your rough draft and your final project. Be sure to include a reference page. Information from your film needs to be cited, such as your film summary. Some other examples of information that need in-text and end-of-text citations include definitions from the course reading and any outside sources used. For formatting your paper, use 1-inch margins. Use a normal-sized font. I'm not going to be checking fonts or measuring margins unless they look huge, but it is important to pay attention to these details. Most importantly, get your rough draft and your final project submitted on time. I hate to see students write a good paper and then lose points due to submitting an assignment late. So here is your guide for successfully completing your rough draft and final project. If you have any questions at all about this project, please do not hesitate to contact me. I am more than happy to help in any way I can. That's all for now. I'm looking forward to reading your rough drafts and final projects. See you in class and have a fabulous day.